Today I'll be discussing with you the word secular. We all know that this word was not present in the original preamble to the Constitution of India and was inserted only by 42nd Amendment Act of 1976. So before 42nd Amendment, the only mention of the word secular that was in Article 25 plus 2 that relates to the freedom of religion, where a state had been empowered to regulate or restrict any secular activity which is associated with the religious practices. So here this term secular simply means non-religious or matter which is other than purely religious. And secular is something which was understood like sarvdharma somehow, or to say the treating all religions alike, or giving equal respect to all the religions. And instead of dharma nirpeksha or panth nirpeksha, that is state neutrality in matters of religion. So the word secular, which is not defined in the constitution, and we can see the dictionary meaning of secularism, that is non-spiritual, non-concerned with any religion, or a system of belief which rejects all forms of religious faith and worship. That is there. Along with this dictionary meaning in Britannica Encyclopedia and Encyclopedia of Social Sciences and various other philosophers and authors, they have tried to define secularism. So one academic definition that is of D.E. Smith, that is on secularism in Indian context, is near to what secularism means. And he defines that the secular state is a state where the individual and corporate freedom of religion is not constitutionally connected to a particular religion, nor does it seek either to promote or interfere with a religion. So during Constituent Assembly debates, we see that Jawaharlal Nehru also declared that secularism was an ideal which is to be achieved and to be established in a secular state, and that is an act of faith. And one more member in the Constituent Assembly, that is Pandit Lakshmi Kant Maitra. He also spoke on secularism and the word secular when he said that by secular it is meant that the state is not going to make any discrimination on the ground of religion or community against any person who is professing any of the particular religion or is belonging to a particular religious faith. So there cannot be any discrimination on the grounds of the religious faith. So this was his understanding, what he spoke in the Constituent Assembly. So Jawaharlal Nehru as well as Pandit Lakshmikant Maitra, they both spoke about the secular word in the Constituent Assembly debates when the Constitution was being drafted. And what D.E. Smith said about and that it should not be having any religious faith, or it is not like connected to any particular religion. That is the meaning of the secular word. Now, when we see the decisions of the court on this definition of the term secular, then one of the important observation made by Justice Ahmadi in S.R. Bommai case, wherein you know that the secularism was held to be the basic structure of the constitution. And in that case, Justice Ahmadi opined that this secular has not been defined in the constitution because it's a very, very elastic term. Elastic term in the sense that it is not capable of a precise definition, and perhaps it has been left undefined in the constitution. So we see that there are different concepts of secularism. The common element is the absence of state-sponsored or state-favored religion. And that is to say that the state shall not favor any religion, or a state is not considered to be a theocratic state. So it was seen in our country also, that the constitution which established a secular state in our country. So we are witnessing these things in our country also. But we know that secularism, it is not having a definition which can be universally agreed upon. And you see that the First Amendment of the US Constitution, that is regarding the respecting or an establishment of the religion. So this establishment clause in the US Constitution, that erects a wall between a state and the church there. This has been made wholly applicable to the states by the 14th Amendment, which says that neither the state nor the federal governments can set up a church. So in the US, we see that there is a clear, wall between the state and the church. And there was one decision of the US Supreme Court in Everson versus Board of Education, where the court held that the state neither can pass laws which aid one religion or aid all religions or prefer one religion or over the another religion. So this is established there in the US. Then if we see the Australian Constitution, then there is Article 116 of the Australian Constitution, which says that the Commonwealth shall not make any law for establishing any religion or for imposing any religious observance or for prohibiting the free exercise of any religion. So this Article 116 of the Constitution of Australia, that precludes the Commonwealth of Australia, that is a federal parliament, from making the laws for establishing any religion. So we see that in US and in Australia, the constitution is more narrowly drafted and does not preclude the states of Australia from making such laws. Now coming to India, like socialism, the word secular was also tried to be defined in 45th Amendment Bill as a secular republic to mean a republic in which there is equal respect for all religions. And you see that unlike socialism, the secularism definition also couldn't find place in the 44th Amendment Act of the Constitution. So there is no definition of word secular in the Constitution of India. However, we see that the concept of secularism, that was already in the Constitution. Prior to 1976 amendment, that is 42nd Amendment to the Constitution, Article 14, that guarantees the equality before law and equal protection of laws. That simply means that there shall not be any discrimination on any ground. So religion is one of them. And similarly, we find other provisions also, which are in part 3rd and other parts of the Constitution. For example, provisions from Article 25 to 28 that speaks of the right to freedom of religion, along with Article 15, 1, 2, and 16, 2, that there shall not be any discrimination on the grounds of religion, amongst other grounds also. Then Article 19, Article 29, 2, Article 30, then Article 44, and Article 325. So 325, for example, you know that there is no communal electoral roll. So this is the things which we found in our constitution prior to 42nd Amendment. And this prohibits the discrimination in different matters on the basis of religion. And we see that these provisions were already in existence prior to 42nd Amendment to the Constitution of India. Then besides that, we see that the court's judgments, Justice Khanna in Keshwanand Bharti case, he was of the opinion that the state shall not discriminate against any citizens on the ground of religion only. So we see that in 1973, the Supreme Court has spoken on these lines. And in Indira Nehru Gandhi 1975, Justice Chandrachud, he also explained the basic features of secularism so as to mean that the state shall have no religion or state shall not have any religion of its own. So we see that the provisions in the Constitution as well as the judgments which were taken prior to 42nd Amendment, they were all in the line of the secularism. And Justice Hegde and Justice Mukherjee in the same case, Keshwaran Bharti case, they also said that the state is not a theocratic state, and all persons shall be equally entitled to freedom of conscience and to right to profess, practice, and propagate religion. So we see that these are the things which were already there prior to the amendment inserting secular in the preamble to the Constitution of India. Now, one of the crucial tests for secularism that came before the Supreme Court in 1985, and that was Shahbano case. And the Shahbano case that is related to the maintenance of women under Section 125 of CRPC, which are applied to all citizens without any discrimination on the ground of religion, we know. And this was the case where the Supreme Court has given this judgment, and to undo the judgment of the Supreme Court in this case, what happened that the Parliament has brought one act, that is Muslim Women's Protection of Rights Act 1986, and just in order to undo what the Supreme Court has done in that particular case. So this is how we see that this secularism or this word or the rights of the persons who belong to a particular religion, and that was the attitude in the Parliament. Then we see that we know that by secularism we means that there is no state religion, or it does not identify itself with in favor of any specific religion. But secularism is susceptible to a positive meaning, that is developing understanding and respect toward different religions also. And you see in Aruna Rai versus Union of India in 2002, Supreme Court held that the essence of secularism is non-discrimination. Non-discrimination of the people by the state on the basis of different religions, on the basis of religious differences as such. So this is one aspect which was taken by the Supreme Court in 2002. Then again, you see in 2005, two judgments have been given by the Supreme Court. One in Gopal Krishna versus State of Kerala, and other is Bal Patil versus the Union of India. So in MP Gopal Krishna, what happened that the Supreme Court held that secularism, it doesn't mean that the Constitution is of atheist society. But it is nearly an equal status of all religions without any preference or any favor or any discrimination against any one of them. So that if one person is professing one religion, then let it be like that. So state should remain neutral, it should not interfere with the religious matters. So this was in Gopal Krishna case. And then in Bal Patil 2005 Supreme Court, again the court held that the concept of secularism is that the state shall have no religion, and the state will treat all religion or all religious groups equally, and will pay equal respect without interfering with the individual rights, because they are having their right to religion, faith, worship, etc. So you see that the judgment of the Supreme Court in these two cases were on the basis that there shall not be any religion of the state, and the state shall not interfere in the religious matters of the person concerned. So this is how the secularism what has been interpreted by the Supreme Court in these two cases. Then the cases on secularism, like teaching of Sanskrit in schools, that is Santosh Kumar versus Ministry of Human Resource Development. Then reservation of seats in Sangha Assembly, that is in Sikkim. So R.C. Podial versus Union of India case. Then this worship in the mosque that is related to Ayodhya Babri Masjid case, that was of 1994. M. Ismail Farooqi versus Union of India case of the Supreme Court. And then TMA Pai Foundation versus the State of Karnataka 2002 Supreme Court case. So you see that the word secularism is interpreted in these cases in a different way. And while we'll discuss the right to freedom of religion, we'll discuss in detail all these cases there. And then we see that there are certain controversies also regarding the word secularism in India. So if you can recall one of the advertisement which was issued by NDA government, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, that was on 26th January 2015, and where the word socialist and secular were omitted from the preamble, and the government claimed that these two words are irrelevant. Then again, Justice R.F. Nariman, who was the sitting judge of the Supreme Court of India, he also expressed a similar view in one of the function in 2015, when he said that the words socialist and secular were wholly unnecessary in the preamble, and this was published in newspaper Hindu in February 2015. And one more judge of this Supreme Court, he was also the sitting judge of the Supreme Court, Justice Joseph Korean. He also spoke in the conference, which was of the Chief Justices of High Courts during Good Friday in April 2015, and that was on tinkering with secularism. And that was also published in newspaper Hindu in 2015, 5th April 2015. So we see that these incidents have been quoted by Professor K.C. Joshi in his book on constitutional law of India, and it was said that these views which were given, or statements which were there of the judges, of sitting judges of the Supreme Court, as well as the government of India, I mean, published this advertisement. So these were all extrajudicial, and it's not a case before the court. And so the only method to get rid of unnecessary words of the constitution is to be either by an amendment, where you can delete or repeal these words by making an amendment to the constitution, or if it is if it seems to be irrelevant, then it has to be brought before the Supreme Court so that there may be a judicial pronouncement on those words. But it is not to be done through a political instruction or for extrajudicial statement. And then you see the recent or the latest law of the UP government, that is regarding prohibition of unlawful religious conversion ordinance 2020. And that is on the conversion. You all know that that law is now in UP. So this conversion will have some impact on secularism, and that has to be seen academically, not politically. And you see that in order to see that secularism as an important term in the preamble, it is necessary that the term secularism must be defined in the constitution to avoid interpretation, or to prevent misuse of religion by any political party or by any person. And then we see that there are some other words also which have been used in the preamble to the constitution. So for that, I'll be coming back to you on those terms. Thank you.